to times in the 30s, and what we had the Union Station there. And that Union Station, when they tore that down to have the station as it is now, Chinatown has had to move, had to go somewhere. My mother had a real rough time because my dad was kind of a person that he sent whatever money he had back to China. And he left just enough for us to survive on. My mom, she managed to run a store, a grocery store, in the area on 22nd and Compton. Back in the 30s, I lived on Merchant Street, which is on near 7th and Central, that area. And when things got a little bit better for us, we moved out and we moved down to Adams. So Adams became essentially located for a lot of Chinese people. We lived there across the street with a Chinese school. It was really great. It wasn't really great, we had to go, okay. And then there was the Chinese Presbyterian Church that moved from the Chinatown down to Adams there. And from there, we went to church, every Sunday. Of course, we had to because the minister was living across the street from us. In those days, there were 3 schools: Lincoln, Belmont. Oh, more than that. Lincoln, Belmont, Polytechnic, and Jefferson High School. Now, these schools, they had enough Chinese people, so they had a Chinese club in each one of these schools. So what they do is that they would get together about once every semester, and they do raise money, have a little dance, a little party. Well, my dad was very old-fashioned. I don't know how my sister got to do things like that, but they use our house for parties. But they call it dance practice, okay? And this went on until until I went into the service, and it was really wild that time till the time I came back. Well, they had parties there, and things happened there, but it's like it's 2 different worlds. The people up in Chinatown, well, they have their ways of doing things, and we have our ways of doing things. Most of the Chinese people were either working in the produce market or have a restaurant. And the families, the bigger the family, the more it's see. And then they're putting these kids to school. But when they go to school, they go into schools like Polytechnic and all that, and they became educated to a point where why work and work so hard in these restaurants? So you see that the people that had a family, that had business and stuff like that, is no longer with the kids. The kids become doctors or engineers or things like that. And things are really to a point where these kids are educated and they don't want to live in the area. They're making pretty good money, so they start moving out. So they're moving out from where we are in this area, and some of the people that had money, they start moving on the west side. And then when their kids graduate from college and so forth and have their degrees in various things, then they start moving out to bigger places. And a lot of Chinese people start to move out toward Alhambra, Monterey Park, and that area. And they even go as far as on the other side of 605, and they go on the Diamond Bar and all that. So that's where all the Orientals are moving to. The very few of them will move to areas like where we are now. When I first moved into Los Feliz area, there was only 3 Chinese families, Oriental families, that were living on the street. And one of my neighbors, well, they didn't understand me or anything like that, then we weren't in talking terms until when they found out after a few years of knowing each other, I couldn't get rid of them. They always around. So, you know, it's just a matter of, yes, they don't understand you because they don't know or know your habits, things like that. They just don't understand. So when they realize the things that we can all work together, then become real good friends.